No room. So, signora, come sta?
Molto bene, prego.
No, I did already.
Can we hear you, Sandy?
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Looking lovely.
Perfect. Parli italiano.
Leonardo has the opening line. Mr. Mikey.
What are my
Just find my scripture.
are these?
Act 1, Scene 1, before Leonardo's house. Enter
You're
Leonardo
coming late.
and Beatrice with a messenger.
Did you play the messenger in this role?
I don't have any roles.
Okay.
So we're starting. We're starting with like what? What are we doing?
Let's see.
Messenger for one.
So you're going to be reading off a book or
Here.
you're reading off a book?
Only because
But Sandy will be able to scroll.
Yeah, good.
She can on hers. Yeah.
Okay. Actors to the stage, actors to the stage. Everybody's ready? Are we all well met?
yes.
Act 1. What to do about nothing. Thank you, Pfizer, for sponsoring. Scene 1. Yes. Before Leonato's house in the city of Moderna. I learn in this letter that Don Peter of Aragon comes this night to Messina.
He is very near by this. He was not 3 leagues off when I left him.
How many gentlemen have you lost in this action?
But a few of any sort, and none of the name.
A victory is twice itself when the achiever brings home full numbers. I find here that Don Peter hath bestowed much honor on a young Florentine called Claudio.
Much deserved on his part, and equally remembered by Don Pedro. He hath borne himself beyond the promise of his age, doing in the figure of a lamb the feats of a lion. He hath indeed bettered expectation than you must expect of me to tell you how.
He hath an uncle here in Messina, will be very much glad of it.
I have already delivered him letters, and there appears much joy in him, even so much that joy could not show itself modest enough without a badge of bitterness.
Did he break out into tears?
In great measure.
A kind overflow of kindness. There are no faces truer than those who are so washed. How much better it is to weep at joy than to joy at weeping.
I pray you, is Signor Montano returned from the wars or no?
I know none of that name, lady. There was none such in an army of any sort.
What is that? What is he that you ask for, niece?
My cousin means Signor Benedict of Padua.
Oh, he's returned, and as pleasant as ever he was.
Oh, he set up his bills here in Messina and challenged a Cupid at the flight. And my uncle's fool, reading the challenge, subscribed for Cupid and challenged him at the bird boat. I pray you, how many had he killed and eaten in these wars? But how many had he killed? For indeed, I promised to eat all of his killing.
Faith, niece, you tax Signor Benedict too much. But he'll be meek with you, I doubt it not.
He hath done good service, lady, in these wars.
Ah, you had musty victual, and he had hoped to eat it. He is a very vile entrenchman. He hath an excellent stomach.
And a good soldier too, lady.
And a good soldier to a lady. But what is he to a lord?
A lord to a lord. A man to a man, stuffed with all honorable virtues.
So indeed. He is no less than a stuffed man. But for the stuffing, well, we are all immortal.
You must not, sir, mistake my niece. There is a kind of a merry war betwixt Senor Benedict and her. They never meet, but there's a skirmish of wit between them.
Alas, he gets nothing by that. In our last conflict, 4 of his 5 wits went halting off. Now is the whole man governed with 1. So that if he have wit enough to keep himself warm, let him bear it for a difference between himself and his horse. For it is all the wealth that he hath left to be known a reasonable creature. Who is his companion now? He hath every month a new sworn brother.
'Tis possible.
Very easily possible. He wears his faith but as the fashion of his hat. It ever changes with the next block.
I see, lady. The gentleman is not in your books.
Oh, and he won't. I would burn my study. But I pray you, who is his companion? Is there no young squire now that will make a voyage with him to the devil?
He is most in the company of the right noble Claudio.
Oh, Lord, he will hang upon him like a disease. He is sooner caught than the pestilence, and the taker runs presently mad. Oh, God, help the noble Claudio. If he have caught the Benedict, it will cost him £1,000 ere be cured.
I will hold friends with you, lady.
Do, good friend.
You will never run mad, niece.
Oh, not till a hot January.
Don Pedro is approaching.
Here comes Don Pedro. Good Signor Leonato, you are come to meet your trouble. The fashion of the world is to avoid cost, and you encounter it.
Never came trouble to my house in the likeness of your grace. For trouble being gone, comfort should remain. But when you depart from me, sorrow abides and happiness takes its leave.
You embrace your charge too willingly. I think this is your daughter.
Her mother hath many times told me so.
Were you in doubt, sir, that you asked her?
Signor Benedict, no, for then you were a child.
You have it fooled, Benedict. We may guess by this that you are being a man. And truly the lady fathers herself. Be happy, lady, for you are like an honorable father.
Well, if Signor Leonardo be her father, she would not have a hair on her shoulders for all Messina, like him as she is.
I wonder that you will still be talking, Signor Benedict. Nobody marks you.
Oh, what, my dear Lady Disdain, are you yet living?
Is it possible Disdain should die while she hath such meat food to feed it as Signor Benedict? Courtesy itself must convert to disdain if you come in her presence.
And is courtesy a turncoat, but it is certain I am loved of all ladies, only you excepted, and I could find in my heart that I had not a hard heart, for truly I love none.
A dear happiness to women. They would else have been troubled with a pernicious suitor. I thank God and my cold blood. I am of your humor for that. They'd rather hear my dog bark at a crow than a man swear he loves me.
Oh, God, keep your ladyship still in that mind, so some gentleman or other shall escape a predestinate scratch in the face.
Ah, scratching could not make it worse, and 'twere such a face as you were.
Well, you are a rare parrot teacher.
Ah, a bird of my tongue is better than a beast of yours.
I would my horse had the speed of your tongue, and so a good container. But keep your way in God's name. I have done.
You always end with a jade's trick. I know you of old.
This is the sum of all, Leonato. Signor Claudio and Signor Benedict, my dear friend Leonato hath invited you all. I tell him we shall stay here at the least a month, and he heartily prays some occasion may detain us longer. I dare swear he is the hypocrite, but prays from his heart.
If you swear, I'm Leonardo.
Oh, I got it too here.
Oh, you. Oh,
Do you want it?
oh no. Okay, go ahead.
On,
Sorry,
Any time.
on.
Sorry.
Onward. If you swear, my lord, you will not be forsworn. Let me bid you welcome, my lord. Being reconciled to the prince, your brother, I owe you all duty.
I thank you. I am not of many words, but I thank you.
Please it your grace lead on.
Your hand, Leonato. We will go together.
Thank you, Pedro.
Claudio, on Claudio too. Benedict, didst thou note the daughter of Signor Leonato?
I noted her not, but I looked on her.
Is she not a modest young lady?
Do you question me as an honest man should do for my simple, true judgment, or would you have me speak after my custom, as being a professed tyrant to their sex?
No, I pray thee speak in sober judgment.
Oh, why, in faith, methinks she is too low for high praise, too brown for a fair praise, and too little for a great praise. Only this commendation I can afford her, as she were other than she is, as she were unhandsome, and for being no other but as she is. I do not like her.
Thou thinkest I am in sport. I pray thee, tell me truly how thou likest her.
Would you buy her, that you inquire after her?
Can the world buy such a jewel?
Oh, yeah, and put a case into it. Put a case to put it into. But speak you this with a sad brow. Or do you play the flouting jack to tell us Cupid is a good hair finder and Vulcan a rare carpenter? Come in. In what key shall a man take you to go in the song?
In mine eye, she is the sweetest lady that ever I looked on.
I can see yet without spectacles that it is no such matter. There's her cousin, and she were not possessed with a fury, exceeds her as much as beauty in the 1st of May doth to the last of December. But I hope you have no intent to turn husband, have you?
I would scarce trust myself, though I had sworn the contrary, if Hero would be my wife.
Ah, it's come to this. In faith, hath not the world won a man, but it will wear this cap of suspicion? Shall I never see a bachelor with 80 again? Go to, in faith, thou wilt need thrust thy neck into a yoke, where the print of it and the sigh away Sundays. Look, Don Pedro is returned to seek you.
What secret had you here that you followed not to Leonato's?
Ah, I would your grace would constrain to tell.
I charge you on thy allegiance.
Oh, now you hear Count Claudio. I can be secret as a dumb man. I would have you think so, but on my allegiance, mark you this, on my allegiance, he is in love. With who? Now, that is your grace's part. How short his answer is. With Hero, Leonato's short daughter.
If this was so were it uttered.
Oh, like the old tale, my lord. It is not so, no, 'twas not so, but indeed, God forbid it should be so.
If my passion change not shortly, God forbid it should be otherwise.
Amen. If you love her, for the lady is very well worthy.
You speak this to fetch me in, my lord.
By my troth, I speak my thought.
And in faith, my lord, I spoke mine.
And By my two faiths in troth, my lord, I spoke mine.
That I love her, I feel.
That she is worthy, I know.
That I neither feel, nor feel she should be loved, nor not know that she should be worthy, is the opinion that fire cannot melt out of me. I will die in it as the stake.
Thou wast ever an obstinate heretic in the despite of beauty.
And never could maintain his part but in the force of his will.
Well, that the woman conceived me, I thank her. That she brought me up, I likewise give her the most humble thanks. But that I will have a reed sheet winded in my forehead, or hang my bugle with invisible baldric, all women shall pardon me, because I will not do them the wrong, mistrust any. To mistrust any. I will do myself the right to trust none. And the fine is, for the which I may go the finer, I will live a bachelor.
I'll see thee ere I die look pale with love.
With anger, with sickness, or with hunger, my lord, not with love. Or that I will lose more blood than love, will get well again with drinking. Pick out mine eyes with a ballad maker's pen, and hang me up at the door of the brothel house for the sign of blind Cupid.
Well, if ever thou dost fall from this faith, thou wilt prove a notable argument.
Well, if I do, hang me in a bottle like a cat, and shoot at me, and then he hits me, let him be clapped on the shoulder and called Adam.
Ah, well, as time shall try. In time the savage bull doth bear the yoke.
Oh, the savage bull may, but if ever the sensible Benedict bear it, pluck off the bull's horns and set them on my forehead, and let me be vilely painted, and it's great letters as they write, "Here is good horse to hire." And let them signify under my sign, "Here you may see Benedict, the married man."
If this should ever happen, thou wouldst be horn mad.
If Cupid had not spent all his quiver in Venice, then thou wilt quake for this shortly.
I look for an earthquake too, then.
Well, you will temporize with the hours. In the meantime, Signor Benedict, repair to Leonato's, commend me to him, and tell him I will not fail him at supper. For indeed he hath made a great preparation.
I have almost matter enough in me for such a embassage. And so I commit you
To the tuition of God from my house, if I had it.
The 6th of July. Your loving friend, Benedict.
Nay, mock me not, mock not. The body of your discourse is sometimes guarded with fragments, and the guards are but lightly basted on neither. Ere you flout old ends any further, examine your conscience, and so I leave you.
My liege, your highness may do me good.
My love is thine to teach. Teach it but how, and thou shalt see how apt it is to learn. Any hard lesson that may do thee good.
Hath Leonato any son, my lord?
No child but Hero, and she's his only heir. Dost thou affect her, Claudio?
Oh, my lord, when you went onward on this ended action, I looked upon her with a soldier's eye, that liked, but had a rougher task in hand than to drive liking to the name of love. But now I am returned, and that war thoughts have left their places vacant. In their rooms come thronging soft and delicate desires, all prompting me how fair a young hero is, saying I liked her ere I went to war.
Thou wilt be like a lover presently, and tire the hearer with a book of words. If thou dost love their hero, cherish it, and I will break with her and with her father, and thou shalt have her. What's not to this end that thou beganst to twist so fine a story?
How sweetly do ministers to love, that no loves grief by his complexion. But test my liking my too sudden seem, or less my liking my too sudden seem, I would have salved it with a longer treatise.
Ah, what need the bridge, much broader than the flood? The fairest grant is the necessity. Look, what will serve is fit. 'Tis once thou lovest, and I will fit thee with the remedy. I know we shall have reveling tonight, and I will assume thy part in some disguise, and tell fair hero that I am Claudio, and in her bosom I'll unclasp my heart, and take her herring prisoner with the force and strong encounter of my amorous tale. Then, after to her father will I break, and the conclusion is she shall be thine. In practice, let us put it presently.
Scene 2, a room in Leonato's house. Enter Leonato and Antonio meeting.
How now, brother? Where is my cousin, your son? Hath he provided this music?
He is very busy about it. But, brother, I can tell you strange news that you yet dreamt not of.
Are they good?
As the event stamps them, but they have a good cover, and they show well outward. The prince and Count Claudio, walking in a thick-pleached valley in mine orchard, were thus much overheard by a man of mine. The prince discovered to Claudio that he loved my niece, your daughter, and meant to acknowledge it this night in a dance. And if he found her accordant, he meant to take the present time by the top and instantly break with you of it.
Hath the fellow any wit that told you this?
A good sharp fellow. I will send for him and question him yourself.
No. We will hold it as a dream till it appear itself. But I will acquaint my daughter withal, that she may be the better prepared for an answer, if peradventure this be true. Go you and tell her of it. Cousins, you know what you have to do. Oh, I cry you mercy, friend. Go you with me, and I will use your skill. Good cousin, have you a care this busy time?
Scene 3, the same. Enter Don John and Conrad.
What is the good year, my lord? Why are you thus out of measure sad?
There is no measure in the occasion that breeds, wherefore the sadness is without limit.
You should hear reason.
And when I've heard it, what blessings brings it?
If not a present remedy, at least a patient sufferance.
I wonder that thou, being as thou sayest thou art, born under Saturn, goest about to apply a moral medicine to a mortifying mischief. I cannot hide what I am. I must be sad when I have cause, and smile at no man's jests. Eat when I have stomach, and wait for no man's leisure. Sleep when I'm drowsy and tend on no man's business. Laugh when I am merry, and claw no man in his humor.
Yea, but you must not make the full show of this till you may do it, without controlment. You have of late stood out against your brother, and he hath ta'en you newly into his grace, where it is impossible you should take true root but by the fair weather that you make yourself. It is needful that you frame the season for your own harvest.
I'd rather be a canker in a hedge than a rose in his grace, and it better fits my blood to be disdained of all than to fashion a carriage to rob love from any. In this, though, I cannot be said to be a flattering honest man. It must not be denied, but I'm a plain-dealing villain. I am trusted with a muzzle and enfranchised with a clog. Therefore I have decreed not to sing in my cage. If I had my mouth, I would bite. If I had my liberty, I would do my liking. And in the meantime, let me be that I am, and seek not to alter me.
Can you make no use of your discontent?
I make all use of it, for I use it only. Who comes here? What news, Baraccio?
I come yonder from the great supper, and the prince, your brother, is royally entertained by Leonato. And I can give you the intelligence of an intended marriage.
Will it serve for any model to build mischief on? What is he for a fool that betroths himself to unquietness?
Mary, it is your brother's right hand.
Ooh, the most exquisite Claudio?
Even he.
A proper squire. And who? Which way looks he?
Mary, our hero, the daughter and heir of Leonato.
A very forward march, chick. How came you to this?
Oh, being entertained before a performer, as I was smoking a musty conference, I whipped me behind the arras, and there heard it agreed upon that the prince would woo hero for himself, and having obtained her, give her to Count Claudio.
Oh, come, let us thither. This may prove food to my displeasure. That young startup hath all the glory of my overthrow. If I can cross him any way, I bless myself every way. You're both sure and will assist me?
To the death, my lord.
Let us to the great supper. Their cheer is the greater that I am subdued. Would the cook were of my mind. Shall we go? What's to be done?
We'll wait upon your lordship.
Act 2, Scene 1. A hall in Leonato's house. Enter Leonato, Antonio, Hero, Beatrice, and others.
Why not Count John here at supper?
I saw him not.
Oh, what hardly that gentleman looks. I never can see him, but I am heartburned an hour after.
He is of a very melancholy disposition.
He were an excellent man that were made just in the midway between him and Benedict. One is too like an image and says nothing, and the other too like my lady's eldest son, evermore tattling.
Then half Signor Benedict's tongue in Count John's mouth, and half Count John's melancholy in Signor Benedict's face.
With a good leg and a good foot, uncle, and money enough in his purse, such a man would win any woman in the world, if I could get her good will.
By my troth, niece, thou wilt never get thee a husband if thou be so shrewd of thy tongue.
In faith, she's too cursed.
who cursed is more than cursed. I shall rest in God's sending that way. For it is said, God sends a cursed cow short horns, but to a cow too cursed, he sends none.
So, by being cursed, God will send you no horns?
Just if he send me no husband, for the which blessing I am at him upon my knees every morning and evening. Lord, I could not endure a husband with a beard on his face. I had rather lie in the womb.
You may light on a husband that hath no beard.
What shall I do with him? Dress him in my apparel and make him my waiting gentlewoman? He that hath a beard is more than a youth, and he that hath no beard is less than a man. And he that is more than a youth is not for me, and he that is less than a man, I am not for him. Therefore I will even take sixpence in earnest to the bear ward, and lead his apes into hell.
Well then, go you into hell?
Oh, but to the gate. And there will the devil meet me, like an old cuckold, with horns on his head, and say, "Get you to heaven, Beatrice. Get you to heaven. Here's no place for you, maids." So deliver I up to my apes, and away to Saint Peter for the heavens. He shows me where the bachelors sit, and there live we as merry as the day is long.
Well, niece, I trust you will be ruled by your father.
Yes, faith. It is my cousin's duty to make curtsy and say, "Father, as it please you." But yet, for all that, cousin, let him be a handsome fellow, or else make another curtsy and say, "Father, as it please me."
Well, niece, I hope to see you one day fitted with a husband.
Not till God make men of some other metal than the earth. Would it not grieve a woman to be overmastered with a pierce of valiant dust, to make an account of her life to a clod of wayward marl? No, uncle, I'll done. Adam's sons are my brethren, and truly I hold it as a sin to match in my kindred.
Daughter, remember what I told you. If the prince do solicit you in that kind, you know the answer.
The fault will be in the music, cousin, if you be not wooed in good time. If the prince be too important, tell him there is measure in everything, and so dance out the answer. Hear me, hero. Wooing, wedding, and repenting is as a Scotch jig, a measure and a syncopace. The first suit is hot and hasty, like a Scotch jig, and full is fantastical. The wedding, mannerly, modest, as a measure full of state and ancientry. And then comes repentance, and with his bad legs, fall into the syncopace faster and faster till he sink into the grave.
Cousin, you apprehend passing shrewdly.
I have a good eye, my uncle. I can see a church by daylight.
The revelers are entering, brother. Make good room.
Lady, will you walk about with your friend?
So you walk softly and look sweetly and say nothing. I'm yours for the walk, especially when I walk away.
With me in your company,
I may say so when I please.
and when you please you to say so.
When I like your favor, for God defend the lute should be like the case.
My visor is Philemon's roof, within the house of Jove.
Why then your visor should be thatched.
Speak low if you speak love.
Well, I would you did like me.
So would not I for your own sake, for I have many ill qualities.
Which is one?
I say my prayers aloud.
I love you the better. The hearers may cry. Amen.
God match me with a good dancer,
Amen.
and God keep him out of my sight when the dance is done. Answer, clerk.
No more words. The clerk is answered.
I know you well enough. You are Signor Antonio.
At a word, I am not.
I know you by the waggling of your head.
Oh, to tell you true, I counterfeit
You
him.
could never do him so ill well unless you were the very man. Here's his dry hand up and down. You are he. You are he.
At a word, I am not.
Come. You think I do not know you by your excellent wit? Can virtue hide itself? Go to, Mum. You are he. Graces will appear and there is an end.
Will you not tell me who told you so?
No, you shall pardon me.
Nor will not tell me who you are.
Not now.
That I was disdainful, and that I had my good wit out of the 100 merry tales. Well, this was Signor Benedict that said so.
What's he?
I am sure you know him well enough.
Not I, believe me.
Did he never make you laugh?
I pray you, what is he?
Why, he is the prince's jester, a very dull fool. Only his gift is in devising impossible slanders. None but libertines delight in him. And the commendation is not in his wit, but in his villainy. For he both pleases men and angers them. And then they laugh at him and beat him. I am sure he is in the fleet. I would he had boarded me.
When I know the gentleman, I'll tell him what you say.
Oh, do. He'll but break a comparison or two on me, which, peradventure not marked or not laughed at, strikes him into melancholy. And then there's a partridge wing saved, for the fool will eat no supper that night. He must follow the leaders.
In every good thing.
And if they lead to any ill, I will leave them at the next turning.
Sure, my brother is amorous on Hero and hath withdrawn her father to break with him about it. The ladies follow her, but one visor remains.
And that is Claudio. I knew him by his bearing.
Are you not, Signor Benedict? You know me well, I am he. Signor, you're very near my brother in his love. He's enamored on Hero. I pray you dissuade him from her. She's no equal for his birth. You may do the part of an honest man in it. How know you he loves her? I heard him swear his affection.
So did I too. And he swore he would marry her tonight.
Come, let's to the banquet. Thus answer I in the name of Benedict, but hear these ill news with the ears of Claudio. 'Tis certain so, the prince woos for himself. Friendship is constant in all other things, save in the office and affairs of love. Therefore, all hearts in love use their own tongues. Let every eye negotiate for itself, and trust no agent, for beauty is a witch against whose charms faith melteth into blood. This is an accident of hourly proof, which I mistrusted not. Farewell, therefore, Hero.
Count Claudio?
Yeah, the same.
Come, will you go with me?
Whither?
Well, even to the next willow about your own business, County. What fashion will you wear in the garland of? About your neck, like a usurer's chain, or under your arm, like a lieutenant's scarf. You must wear it one way, for the prince hath got your hero.
I wish him joy of her.
Where? Why, that's spoken like an honest drover, as they say, sell bullocks. But did you think that the prince would have served you thus?
I pray you leave me.
Oh, now you strike like the blind man. 'Twas the boy that stole your meat, and you'll beat the post.
If it will not be, I'll leave you.
Alas, poor fowl. Now will he creep into sedges, but that my lady Beatrice should know me and not know me. The princess fool! Ah, it is, you may agree that I go that title because I am merry. Yea, but so I am apt to do myself wrong. I am not so reputed. It is the base, though bitter disposition that of Beatrice that puts the world into her person and so gives me out. Well, I'll be revenged, as I say, as I may.
Now, senor, where is the count? Did you see him?
Trust my lord, I have played the part of Lady Fame.
Hmm.
I found him here as melancholy as a lodge as in a warren. I told him, and I think I told him true, that your grace had gotten the goodwill of this young lady, and I offered him my company to a willow tree, either to make him a garland as for being forsaken, or to bind him up a rod and being unworthy to be whipped.
And to be whipped, what's his fault?
What a flat transgression of a schoolboy who, being overjoyed at finding a bird's nest, shows it his compassion, and he steals it.
Ah, wilt thou make a transgression? The transgression is the stealer.
Yet it hath not been amiss the rod that had been made, and the garland too. For the garland he might have worn himself, and set the rod he might have bestowed on you, who, as I take it, have stolen his bird's nest.
I will teach him to sing and
Oh.
restore them to the owner.
Oh, well, if they're singing on, so you're saying, by my faith, you say honestly.
Well, the Lady Beatrice hath a quarrel to you. The gentleman that danced with her told her she is much wronged by you.
Oh, she misused me past the endurance of a block.
Oh.
And an oak with one green leaf on it would have answered her. My very visor began to assume life and scold with her. She told me, not thinking I had been myself and that I was the prince's jester, that I was duller than a great thaw, huddling jest upon jest with such impossible conveyance upon me that I stood like a man at a market with a whole army shooting at me. She speaks poniards, and every word stabs. If her breath were as terrible as her terminations, there were no living near her. She would infect it to the North Star. No, I would not marry her, no, though she were endowed with all that Adam had left before him when he transgressed. She would have made Hercules have turned to spit, yea, and have cleft his club to make the fire too. Come. Talk not of her. You shall find the infernal Ate in good apparel. I would go to God. Some scholar would conjure her. For certainly, while she is here, a man may live in quiet in hell as in sanctuary, and people sin upon purpose, because they would go hither, thither, and so, indeed, all disquiet, horror, and perturbation follows her.
Look, here she comes.
Ooh. Will your grace command me any service to the world's end? I will go on to the slightest errand now, to the antipodes that you can devise send me on. I will fetch you a toothpicker now from the farthest inch of Asia. Bring you the length of Prester John's foot, fetch you a hair of the great Cham's beard. Do you any embassage the pygmies rather than hold 3 words conference with this harpy? You have no employment for me?
None, but to desire your good company.
Oh God, sir, here's a dish I love not. I cannot endure my lady's tongue.
Come, lady, come. You had lost the heart of Signor Benedict.
Indeed, my lord, he lent it me a while, and I gave him use for it, a double heart for his single one. Mary, once before he won it of me with false dice. Therefore, your grace may well say, I have lost it.
You have put him down, lady. You have put him down.
So I would not he should do me, my lord, lest I should prove the mother of fools. I have brought Count Claudio, whom you sent me to seek.
Why now? How now, Count? Whither are you sad?
Not sad, my lord.
How then, sick?
Neither, my lord.
The Count is neither sick.
The Count is neither sad, nor sick, nor merry, not well, but civil Count, civil as an orange, and something of that jealous complexion.
Faith, lady, I think your blazon to be true, though. I'll be sworn, if he be so, his conceit is false. Here, Claudio, I have wooed in thy name, and their hero is won. I have broke with her father, and his goodwill obtained. Name the day of marriage, and God give thee joy.
Count, take of me my daughter, and with her my fortunes. His grace hath made the match, and all graces say amen to it.
Speak, Count, is your cue.
Silence is the perfectest herald of joy. I were but little happy if I could say how much. Lady, as you're mine, I am yours. I give away myself for you and jumped upon the exchange.
Speak, cousin, or if you cannot, stop his mouth with a kiss. Let him not speak neither.
In faith, lady, you have a merry heart.
Yeah, my lord, I thank it. Poor fool, it keeps on the windy side of care. My cousin tells him in his ear that he is in her heart.
And so she doth, cousin.
Good Lord, for alliance. This goes everyone to the world but I, and I am a son of Arthur. I may sit in a corner and cry, hey-ho, for a husband.
Lady Beatrice, I will get you one.
I would rather have one of your father's getting. Hath your grace ne'er a brother like you? Your father got excellent husbands, if a maid could come by them.
Will you have me, lady?
Oh, my lord, unless I might have another for working days. Your grace is too costly to wear every day. But I beseech your grace, pardon me. I was born to speak all mirth and no matter.
Your silence most offends me, and to be merry best becomes you. For out of question, you were born in a merry hour.
Oh, sure, my lord, my mother cried. But then there was a star that danced, and under that I was born. Cousins, God give you a joy.
Niece, will you look to those things I told you of?
I cry you mercy, uncle, by your grace's pardon.
By my troth, a pleasant-spirited lady.
There's little of the melancholy element in her, my lord. She is never sad, but when she sleeps, and not even sad then. For I have heard my daughter say she hath often dreamt of unhappiness and waked herself with laughing.
She cannot endure to hear tell of a husband.
Oh, by no means. She mocks all her wooers out of suit.
She were an excellent wife for Benedict.
Oh, Lord, my Lord. If they were but a week married, they would talk themselves mad.
Count Claudio, when mean you to go to church?
Tomorrow, my lord, the time goes on crutches till love have all his rights.
Not till Monday, my dear son, which is hence just a 7 night, and the time too brief, too, to have all things answered my mind.
Come, you shake the head of so long a breathing. But I warn thee, Claudio, the time shall not go dully by us. I will, in the interim, undertake one of Hercules' labors, which is to bring Signor Benedict and the Lady Beatrix into a mountain of affection, the one with the other. I would fain love it. I would fain have it a match, and I doubt not but to fashion it. If you three will but minister such assistance, I shall have your direction.
My lord, I am for you, though it cost me 10 nights' watchings.
And I, my lord.
And you too, gentle hero.
I will do any modest office, my lord, to help my cousin to a good husband.
And Benedict is not the unhopefullest husband that I know. Thus far can I praise him, and he is a noble strain, but approved valor and confirmed honesty. I will teach you how to humor your cousin, that he shall fall in love with Benedict, and I, with your two helps, will so practice on a Benedict that, in despite of his quick wit and his queasy stomach, he shall fall in love with Beatrice. And if we can do this, Cupid is no longer an archer. His glory shall be ours, and we are the only love gods. Go in with thee, and I will tell you my drift.
Scene 2, the same. Enter Don John and Borachio. It is so. The Count Claudio shall marry the daughter of Leonardo.
Yea, my lord, and you can cross it.
Any bar, any cross, any impediment will be medicinable to me. I am sick in displeasure to him, and whatsoever comes athwart his affection ranges evenly with mine. How canst thou cross this marriage?
Not honestly, my lord, but covertly, and with no dishonesty shall appear in me.
Show me briefly how.
I think I told your lordship a year since how much I am in favor of Margaret, the waiting gentlewoman to Hero.
I remember.
And I can, at any unreasonable instant of the night, appoint her to look out at her lady's chamber window.
What life is in that? To be the death of this marriage?
Well, the poison of that lies in you to temper. Go you to the prince your brother, spare not to tell him that he hath wronged his honor in marrying the renowned Claudio, whose estimation to your mightily hold up to a contaminated stale, such a one as Hero.
What proof shall I make of that?
Proof enough to misuse the prince, to vex Claudio, to undo Hero, and kill Claudio.
Leonardo.
Look you, I kill Leonardo, yes. And look you for any other issue. Getting ahead of myself.
Only to despite them I will endeavor anything.
Go then, and find me a meet hour to draw Don Pedro to the Count Claudio alone, and tell them that you know that Hero loves me. Intend a kind of zeal both to the prince and Claudio, as in love of your brother's honor, who hath made this match and his friend's reputation, who is thus like to be cousin with the semblance of a maid, and you have discovered thus. They will scarcely believe this without trial, to offer them instances which shall bear no less likelihood than to see me at their chamber window, and hear me call Margaret. Hear me call Margaret Hero. And later, Margaret turn me Claudio. And bring them to see this very night before the intended wedding. For in the meantime, I will so fashion the matter that Hero shall be absent, and there shall appear such seeming truth of Hero's disloyalty that jealousy shall be called assurance, and all the preparation overthrown. I cannot.
Grow this to what adverse issue it can. I will put it in practice. Be cunning in the working this, and thy fee is 1,000 ducats.
Be you constant in the accusation, and my cunning shall not shame me.
I will presently go learn their day of marriage. Scene 3, Leonardo Mr. Benedict.
With your wife in your eyes.
Sì, sì.
I hope you can find your eyes.
So I can read it. Okay.